This is Sports Matters with Jerry Coughlan.
It's so retro.
We cover all the biggest sports on the planet. MMA, boxing, snooker, football, darts, you name it, and we cover it. Check out all the latest interviews with Jerry and the Stairs weekly on Sports Matters.
Now listen up.
It's time!
Check out www.twitter.com/sportsmatters and check out Jerry's Facebook and Twitter page at Jerry Coughlan. That's Sports Matters. That's Sports Matters. Live to everyone across the world.
That's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God!
It's ended! The European Cup is returning to England and to Anfield. Liverpool are champions of Europe again.
We also focus on local Irish talent, from MMA fighters to boxers to darts players and up-and-coming football and hurling players. Sport Matters provides a platform for you to hear the interviews you want to hear. So check out Sports Matters on Jerry's Facebook page, also on Mixcloud, Sports Matters. You want to hear an interview? Well, we'll make sure it happens at Sports Matters with Jerry Coughlan.
So welcome to Sports Matters with me, Jerry Coughlan. We simply have one of the greatest ever boxers, in my opinion, a pound-for-pound champion, Olympic champion, Andre Ward. How's things, my friend?
I'm good. I'm happy to be on here with you, and I'm doing well.
That's great to hear. Now, you've got a very busy schedule at the moment, so we're not going to keep you too long. So just a quick question. Tell us about where it all started for you first day. You've had such an amazing career to date. But tell us the early days, where it first started. How did you get involved in boxing?
Well, my first love was, baseball. That's where I first, started competing in sports. And, I was always a tough kid and very competitive. And so when I heard that my father boxed, I didn't know this early on, but when I finally found that out, I was like, wow, you fought. And he started to tell me, all the stories of his rivals and how he trained. And as most kids, I wanted to be like my father. So, I put baseball down right away and picked up the sport at 9 years old. And by 10, I was a national champion. And, it wasn't an easy road, but we just started to develop quickly. And my dad and Virgil started to see the potential in me. And, next thing I knew, I was, qualifying a spot for the Olympic trials and trying to, make my way to the Olympic Games. And then, obviously I was fortunate to go win and then embark on a professional career. And, it's just really been storybook for me. It's not, these are things that I set out to do in the ring and things that I plan to do, but you don't know if they're ever going to come to fruition. I mean, there's a lot that has to fall into place for, lofty dreams to take place. So for me to be at this point in my career, with all that I've been fortunate to accomplish is a true blessing.
Indeed, and boxing in general, it's a real man's sport. It could be a dark place. Tell us what kind of dedication you need to be at the top.
Well, I think that I know for a fact that boxing is a very jealous sport. I think what I mean by that is you can't have the nightlife and have boxing. You can't like boxing and still expect to, be successful, and over an extended period of time. It's not only a tough sport, it's a very dangerous sport. I mean, you literally, can die in a ring if something doesn't go right or if you get hit with the wrong type of punch. So it's a lifestyle. I'm going to the gym when I feel like it, and I'm going to the gym when I don't feel like it, simply because I have to keep working my craft and I have to stay ahead of the competition if, I'm going to continue to maintain my position.
A lot of dedication. And just tell us about the Olympic Games. It's I know for a fact, when you're in school and you're going through the motions and stuff, you always dream of going to the Olympics, if it's been a swimmer or a boxer or a runner? What for you like to finally get that gold medal?
You know, it's funny because once it actually happened for me, you know, it was a surreal moment. It was very surreal. You know, I remember being on the podium and just, you know, I believed it, but I didn't. You know, I expected to be there, but I didn't know if I could actually do it. And, you know, my father, who as I just mentioned, got me into the sport and, you know, raised me as a single parent for most of my life. You know, he passed several years before the Olympics and didn't get a chance to realize that dream with me. So, you know, I also had those emotions on the podium as well. And it was I had mixed emotions. I mean, of course, I was excited. It was the greatest moment of my life. And to this day, you know, in the midst of all the world championships and all the professional success, you know, that gold medal will always reign, you know, number one in terms of just, you know, my overall accomplishments in my life. But it was just, it was an interesting moment because there's excitement. You know, there's a little bit of sadness because my dad wasn't there, but then it's also surreal and you can't really believe that you actually pulled that off. And to even think today, you know, that my name is, you know, no matter what happens in my professional career, I'm in the, you know, the history books with the likes of, you know, Evander Holyfield, you know, Muhammad Ali, and just great people, you know, from the past. So it's just an unbelievable feat.
I can only imagine. There's something I dream of, so, you know, who knows? Maybe one of my kids can do it in the future. Fingers crossed he can follow in your footsteps. That would be awesome. And just with regards to your professional career, you've had such amazing career to date. Like, and it's far from over. Like, no doubt there's still a lot of big fights, but like you've won super middleweight titles. You've been in the Super Six. Tell us, who's been your toughest opponent to date? It's a question I've always wanted to know.
No, it's tough to say who that one tough opponent, you know, was in terms of, you know, just overall, because, you know, they're all tough in different kind of ways. You know, it's really tough to pin one person down, but, you know, I'll always give, you know, Carl Froch the credit for being, you know, probably the toughest competitor that I've ever faced, at least to date. He reminded me a lot of myself just in terms of his will. And I don't get a lot of credit for the will and the grit because people, you know, I don't take a lot of, you know, punishment in the ring, and people think that, oh, you know, he's just a slick boxer. But I have a tremendous amount of determination and a tremendous amount of competitiveness and just a drive to want to be the best and also, you know, come out victorious. And, you know, I sensed that and I felt that in Carl when I fought him. So I'll always kind of give him that spot and give him that respect.
Epic. And I have to agree, your style is beautiful. I love the way you move, and, you know, like that whole defensive style, I think that needs to be brought into the boxing world a bit more, because unfortunately you do see a lot of big brawls. You do see a lot of boxers get hurt. So maybe it's time for boxers to start being more smarter in the ring, you know?
Yeah, and it's tough because, you know, some fighters don't have the physical gifts, so they have to go about it and make their living the best way that they can, and I respect that. But, you know, I don't think one style is necessarily better than the other. I think that, you know, obviously one style you take less punishment, but I mean, just as a pure, you know, fan, from a fan standpoint, I think if you like boxing, I think you appreciate it all. You know, you appreciate the brawler who has to go about it that way, who has to, you know, take two punches to give one. You appreciate, you know, a fighter who knows how to make a guy miss and then counter him. So I don't think there's any room to bash or trash any styles. You know, and I see a lot of this stuff in the news today in the boxing world where it's like, oh, these guys are horrible. You know, only watch this kind of guy. And it's not the right thing to do. Boxing is boxing, and all throughout boxing history, you see different types of styles, different types of temperaments, and different types of fighters, but you respect it all.
Completely agree, 100%. And just two more questions before we go. Recently, you starred in Creed. You played an awesome part, of course, Danny Wheeler, I believe. What was it like to be around, you know, Sylvester Stallone and, you know, the whole camera scene? Is it something you think you could do a bit more?
Well, I do think I can do a bit more of it, and I would really love the opportunity to do a bit more of it. And I think I got bit by the bug, you know, once being on set, because it's a phenomenal thing, and it takes a lot of hard work, you know, mentally to get into a character and play that role and be that role and that role become a part of you. That's very, very difficult to do. But then the physical part, I mean, there were literally 12-hour days where we went over certain scripts and certain scenes and certain moments in the movie, you know, over and over and over again. And I'm going back to my hotel room as if I had just, you know, sparred 12 rounds that day. I'm icing my shoulder. I'm taking a a hot bath. I mean, I'm going through all the paces, but it's really a lot of work, and I was just fortunate to be a part of it with the director Ryan Coogler, who's a friend of mine, Michael B. Jordan, just everybody, Sylvester Stallone. They were all phenomenal. They were all great, and they made the experience something that's memorable.
In Ireland, we loved you in the movie, so we're praying, maybe in a couple of years when you hang up the gloves, you might do some more big roles. We think you have the Hollywood.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And just a quick question in regards to your boxing career. Like, can you give us any hint, any kind of fights that we can expect coming up? There's been a lot of mentions, and we know there's a lot of guys afraid to fight you because of your slick style and that kind of stuff. But do you reckon there's any fights for you coming up in the next few months that we can look forward to, or must you keep it on the hush?
Yeah, well, no. Me and my team, we're working on July, and late July. I think that's a target date. I don't have a set date, but hopefully July, and then sometime in November, against Kovalev. So that's what we're working on right now.
Great fight. And just for all the younger boxers out there, all the lads joining the amateur clubs and all around the world, what advice can you give to them?
Man, just don't allow yourself to be outworked. Sometimes hard work can trump talent, and everybody's talent level is different. But be the guy in the gym who comes early, who stays late, and I've never seen a person who worked hard that didn't have success of some kind, that wasn't that didn't perfect their craft in some kind of way. And in this day and age, there's a lot more distractions out there for the young fighters, whether it's social media, cell phones, different things that I didn't really have when I came up. It was just about wanting to be great and wanting to follow in the footsteps of those who went before me. So the first thing would be just work extremely hard. When you see Floyd Mayweather, when you see some of these top guys, they didn't get there just because of their name. They built a name because of the work that they did, not when people were around, but when people weren't around. And the last thing I would tell them is just, study the greats that went before them. Study different styles, even a style that you may not be keen on, study it, because there may be one little nugget, there may be one little thing that you can pick up and use and implement and perfect. So, knowing your history, studying the fighters that went before you, and just working extremely hard, and great things will come.
Andre, it's been an absolute pleasure and dream to speak with you today, so thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time. Thank you.